Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, the action station, of course, is currently in Constitution Club and in Parliament, where incidentally, as we were talking to Sarthak, you saw visuals of Dharmendra Pradhan entering that cabinet meeting. There you have it. He's a person obviously under a lot of scrutiny, unhappy scrutiny. Was it all his fault? Obviously not. Are people demanding accountability because that's the portfolio he holds? Yes, that's what's happening. The Prime Minister is chairing this meeting. Two ministers are not in this meeting, JP Nadda and Dr. Jitendra Singh, because they are currently in the Constitution Club simultaneously meeting with Saurabh Das of the CJP. My colleague Sanjay joining us on the broadcast. Sanjay, is this a larger cabinet meeting or is it a single point agenda?
देखिए, कैबिनेट की बैठक अभी शुरू नहीं हुई है। पहले सीसीए की बैठक हो रही है, कैबिनेट कमेटी ऑन इकोनॉमिक अफेयर्स की बैठक अभी शुरू हुई है। इसके बाद में कैबिनेट कमेटी की बैठक होगी, जिसमें सरकार के द्वारा एक बिल लाया जा रहा है जो कि कड़े कानून से संबंधित है। किसी भी तरह की पेपर लीक या परीक्षा में कान लीक को लेकर के सरकार एक कड़ा कानून बनाने जा रही है, जिसका आज कैबिनेट में अप्रूवल मिलेगा।
Okay, so there you have it. I mean, these are procedural matters, ladies and gentlemen. It's not the earth-shattering things. The CCA on economic affairs is sitting, after which the larger cabinet will gather. These are procedural matters. The subtext one-line takeaway has already been committed to us, is that this bill will be cleared by cabinet, which has been drafted. Once the bill is cleared by cabinet, it has to be presented on the floor of the House, which you'll see the minister. I think it's DOPT. Sanjay, DOPT will be presenting the bill, no?
हाँ, डीओपीटी इसका पार्ट है, क्योंकि डीओपीटी का ही ये बिल आ रहा है। डीओपीटी का हमने जिससे बताया, डीओपीटी का ही बिल होगा ये, तो डीओपीटी सीधे प्रधानमंत्री के अंडर में आता है, प्रधानमंत्री कार्यालय का ही ये बिल होगा।
Yeah, so again that's procedural. What that means, ladies and gentlemen, that most likely it will be Dr. Jitendra Singh who will present the bill before the floor of the House, one of the houses on Monday, since he is in the Prime Minister's office and is the nodal minister under whom the Department of Personal Training comes. Again, these are procedural things. They don't impact the substance of what is being discussed. The substance is the punishments, which were already stringent as of 2024, are going to get much more stringent. The fast track courts are again an administrative court procedure which has already been completed, and the cases we are expecting to be transferred to those fast track courts again on Monday. On Monday the cases will be heard by the courts, or will be at least transferred to them most likely, and the bill will be presented to Parliament. And I think if the Prime Minister has said it's coming on Monday, I think that's the end of it. It will be presented on Monday, and the drafting, you can imagine, has already concluded. Has that solved everything? Can we all now switch off our television sets and get back to our lives? Unfortunately, no, not just yet. Are we heading in a more hopeful directions? Yes, absolutely we are. I could not recommend a better action than to engage, to put away the lathis. Similarly, I could not recommend a better action from the young protesters, and I bring back so many memories of having been there. Not to fall into the trap that if they are talking, then they are running scared, so we should double down. And if they are not talking, then we should double down anyway, because we need to be louder to make them talk. That creates an unhappy conversation environment. Everything that is being demanded has been agreed to in paper, on camera, barring one. And yes, the devil is in the detail, and by all means the detail should be fleshed out through conversations. And yes, I think these guys, Saurabh and Abhijit and others, like students like Sarthak you just heard, who are taking a proactive role, should be part of the solution. They should be invited to function in these task forces, to keep an eye out on developments so they can be representatives not on the streets but actually in the policy corridors, who are distilling the experiences that they've gathered from the students into a cogent action plan. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping that appeals to your logic. That's what should be happening. I am slightly 10% concerned that now, because it is high profile and all the cameras are on and the entire country and people in the examination system know, does it preclude accountability? Does it go in that direction? Yes, it helps. But if it becomes government can't say, listen, it'll be accepting defeat if the minister has to resign, and they say no, unless you basically bow down and cower before us, we will not change. That's one-upmanship. That's got nothing to do with substance, unfortunately. So let's hope that doesn't happen. Atul, my colleague, meanwhile, is tracking all of this. Atul, I'm assuming as far as the protesters are concerned, they are also now waiting to hear how this meeting goes. Excellent, the meeting has happened. It happened on Monday. That didn't go well because at the same time the clashes were happening. Efforts to have the meeting in between were lost on where to meet. Now at least they're meeting. I'm assuming all the protesters are now waiting for what the results are. What's the word on the ground? What's percolating to your ears?
Well, yes, quite two crucial meetings that is underway in the national capital, but it is obviously the number 2 meeting, which is at the Constitutional Club of India, that has all eyes on, particularly the students who are protesting out there at Jantar Mantar. Now, remember, obviously, as you mentioned, the first 2 demands, regarding the compensation as well as, no action against the protesting students, they have been to an extent, agreed by the government. So it is the third point, which is the sticking point between the government and the CJP and the protesters at large. So clearly the protesters are, we have had interactions with several protesters regarding, government announcing regarding court, special courts, as well as, strengthening the existing law of the paper leak as well. But the students' reaction, certainly, if I could tell you, they too are sort of, quite determined, quite adamant to, get the resignation of Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan is what they keep reiterating. Obviously, now, given the fact that the government is trying to show that, they are taking a lot of actions, but like the CGP leadership, the protesters too are not, really willing to budge or back down on this demand, which is obviously going to be very, very, difficult, because so far the government hasn't indicated any sort of, given any indication that, it would be asking for Dharmendra Pradhan to resign. In fact, what we're learning is that Dharmendra Pradhan's resignation is something which is a far-fetched, thing to imagine. So certainly, given the fact that both the sides are in a way adamant at their position on
I'm hoping that it's a little, the tone and tenor changes. It softens a little bit after this meeting. It is, of course, the government's duty to rebuild trust and confidence. Hardline approach that the cops took has not helped. It's obviously made it worse. So, of course, government's duty, but at the same time, it can't be just on prestige and ego, and it can't be that. Neither from government nor I can tell you, and this is not being unreasonable. I've heard it all, ladies and gentlemen. I've been accused of being Lutyens, Delhi, Khan Market, Godi, everything. Okay, one side accuses you of one, other side accuses you of the other. So, been there. I'm just trying to be logical, practical, rational here. Okay, I have never seen such alacritous action either by the courts or by a government of a day. Okay, could it have happened 1 week ago with the same alacrity? Yeah, of course it could have. In hindsight, could we have reacted better to intelligence on 26/11? Of course we could have. Okay, hindsight is very easy. Bottom line is what's happening today. Are we heading in the right direction? Is the government now doing all the right things? Top to bottom? The answer is yes. If they're doing the right things, do we then join the process of doing the right things, or do we try to escalate our protests? It's a very simple correlation. Okay? If we try to escalate the protest, at what point of time does it get out of hand? I can promise you that if all the political parties got together, all of them, opposition, government, all of them got together, okay, to organize a protest in every village and town in this country, they would not be able to keep a grip on it. Okay? Untoward incidents happen even in rallies, where people climb on top of something, then injure themselves, and scandalous things happen. It's not that easy. Sometimes you got to know when the point has been made, and now it's just become a matter of prestige. Substantive issue is no longer on the radar. I think the point has been made. I think the action is happening. I think a little bit of accountability on the overreach by some of the cops. Some of them were being patient, which is what they're trained to do. That's their job. So they're not doing you a favor. but little bit of accountability on that front, I think more of it needs to be seen to happen from the Delhi Police Commissioner and others. Meanwhile, more breaking developments coming in. This Rouse Avenue Court, remember, we were discussing the cases are before the special CBI court. My colleague Sambhav is joining us. Sambhav, so the